everyone, my name is Lola Rose Moon Dancer. I make videos here on YouTube about Wicca, and I also have a blog called WicccansAren'tWicked.com. Last Wednesday on my blog, I made a post, and it was a list of questions and my answers to them, and these questions were related to paganism in general. And so I thought I would do the second half of these questions here on my YouTube channel. I'm also going to be enjoying some homemade soup, so feel free to join me in having your breakfast, lunch, supper, snack. So yeah, let's get right into it. The first question is, how does spirituality relate to your mundane life? In my mundane life, especially when I'm outside, I'm always able to find joy and life out and about. It brings me joy to look at the trees and the wind and the squirrels and the birds. So all of that makes me joyful, and I attribute that to my spirituality, as well as just trying to harm as little as possible. I find has also made a change in my everyday life. The next question is, do you / how do you meditate? I meditate a little bit, not a whole lot. I'm not good at it. When I do meditate, I'm usually doing it to help me fall asleep. I'll either do that or Reiki. But when I do meditate, I'm usually just laying down in bed with my eyes closed, and I'm either trying to keep everything out of my head or just one certain thing in my head. So if I'm trying to sleep, I'm probably trying to keep everything out of my head, but say I'm like meditating in preparation for like a tarot reading or a spell or a ritual or something like that, I'll think of a word or a short sentence and really try and focus in on that. Question number 3, is, do you use chants, mantras, or affirmations? I don't use mantras, and I don't really use affirmations, and I don't chant a whole lot, but I do chant when I am smudging or if I'm doing spell work that I feel requires it. But I always chant when I am doing a smudging. I always chant the same thing, and it's, negativity is not welcomed here. This is a place of love, joy, and peace. So, question number 4 is, do you have a spirit animal, a power animal, or a familiar animal? Definitely don't have a spirit or a power animal. I lean towards the side of saying no, I don't have a familiar animal. But if I was to say, if I had to guess one of my animals, if they were one, it would be Mango for sure, because he definitely is interested in any spiritual things that I do, any divination, rituals, magic, anything like that. He's definitely attracted to it, but I don't know if he is a familiar. Question number 5 is, do you use crystals? Why and how? I love crystals. I don't use them as much as I wish I did, but I do have black tourmaline in most of my rooms. I know I have some in, like, on my bedside table usually. I have some in the bathroom, and I have some usually in my bag that I carry around. But yeah, I pretty much use crystals as a way to help keep my space negativity free. So, question number 6. How important are altar tools to you? So, I really enjoy altar tools, but for the first year that I really was practicing as a Wiccan, I didn't have really any altar tools. I didn't have an athame, I used my finger. I didn't have a cauldron, I used a tin pot. Yeah, I didn't really have anything, and I don't think you need to have anything to be able to practice. I just personally enjoy them. What is your favorite pagan artwork? I don't follow art at all. It's not something that I have a true appreciation for. However, I do have one painting which I will insert a picture of here, over here somewhere, that I painted myself. It's pretty terrible, but it's up in my wall, and I think it's cool. Question number 8. What is your favorite pagan music? I don't really listen to pagan music. I like listening to like nature sounds. I like listening to yoga music when I'm doing yoga. But like, other than that, I don't really have anything in particular that I listen to. Question number 9 is, what is your favorite place to visit? In a pagan sense, like where I feel connected to my path, I would say the forest or the beach. Especially either of those places at nighttime would be amazing. But in general, I also just really enjoy Scotland. I've been there, it was beautiful, so there's that. Question number 10. Do you believe in ley lines, places of energy? Honestly, I don't know much about ley lines. I quickly tried to look it up, but I feel like it's something that I actually have to put some effort into understanding, and not something that I can just read a quick definition of to have an opinion. For most things, however, I am agnostic. If I don't necessarily truly believe in something, there's a good chance that I'm agnostic about it and not that I just don't believe in it. So there's that. Question number 11. Do you believe in chakras, auras, in the etheric field? I definitely do. Chakras was the very first thing that I really connected with that is a pagan-esque concept. And I find auras very, very interesting. It's not something that I know a super big amount about, but it is something that I am interested in learning more of. Question number 12. What does light or enlightenment mean to you? So I feel that light and enlightenment are two different things. And when they say light, I'm assuming they mean like light witch versus like a dark witch or something like that, and not actual physical lightness. And so having said that, light to me just means someone who works with positive energies in any form. And for me to be enlightened, like, I would say I'm on the path of enlightenment, and someone who is enlightened would be someone who has been able to get past the third dimension and into other dimensions. Question number 13. What does shadow/darkness mean to you? Shadow, other than the physical shadow being a physical shadow, anything other than that doesn't mean anything to me. I don't use shadow as a term in my path. However, darkness would pretty much be like just any witch that doesn't or that would be any witch that works with negative energy in any sense. So any witch that is doing curses or hexes or doing love spells that manipulate one's will, anything like that, that to me is dark. Oops. Classy. Question 14. Do you believe in angels, demons, fairies, etc.? It's a hard question for me. I really struggle with angels because to me they're such a Christian concept, and I know that that's not factual, that angels are in many religions, but I associate with Christianity, so I'm very hesitant to believe in them. I do feel like I do to some level because I do believe in angels incarnate, like incarnated angels, so I feel like I should believe in angels, but like just like the gods, I don't believe in physical deities. I believe in the universal energy source. So I don't know how angels would play into it. I don't know if I could view angels as just another personification of the universal energy source or what. I find it very confusing because I don't believe in heaven, so I don't understand where the angels reside. As for demons, I also don't believe in hell, so I don't know like where they reside. Fairies and gnomes and all that stuff, though, I'm more likely to believe in. However, I don't have a solid belief in them, and I would say that I'm rather agnostic about their existence. However, I do still try and work with them because, I mean, the worst that happens is that I'm talking to thin air, right? So if there's a chance that they could help me, then I would like that help. Question number 15. Do you believe in an afterlife or reincarnation? I do believe in reincarnation, as most Wiccans do. Question number 16. Do you work with ancestors or the deceased? I definitely do honor the ancestors on Samhain. As for the deceased, I have communicated with them before. Sorry, my throat is really hoarse today. And like if there is a positive entity in my home, I welcome it into my home. I have no issues with that. Whenever I cast a sacred circle and I'm doing ritual or spell work, I always invite positive spirits that would like to help me to join me in my practice. And I wish that I incorporated my ancestors more into my path. I guess I just don't necessarily know like how I would. That's something that I need to look into more. Question number 17. What has been most influential on your path? I would say Harmony Nice here on YouTube is who really opened my eyes. I had done some research before I had discovered her, and I was very hesitant to commit myself to the path. But then when I found her channel, I found it very helpful and it opened my eyes a lot. So I would, say her. Question number 18. What are your favorite pagan spiritual books? I really like Scott Cunningham. I've read part 1 and 2 for Living as a Solitary Wiccan. I really enjoyed those. As well as, I'm trying to think of what it was called. It was like Wicca for Dummies or something like that. It was one of the dummy books. And it was about Wicca, and I really enjoyed that book too. I found it very informative. Question number 19. How do you talk to non-pagans about paganism? The answer to that is pretty much everything that I do on this channel. Because when I'm making this channel, I don't expect any of you to understand or to know what it is I'm talking about. Because if I did, it would be pointless. So, yeah, I explain it the same way that I explain everything to you guys. Question 20. Have you experienced spiritual doubt or hesitation? Holy moly, yes. All the time. Like I experienced it when I was a Christian. I experience it now. Having been Christian, there is such a sense of community. And like, I don't even know how to explain it. Like, there's just such a strong faith, like this unwavering love and admiration for God, and that other people share with you, like the kind of love that makes you cry because you just don't understand how you could love someone that much. That's the kind of love that a lot of Christians have for God, and that's what I had. And I miss it. Like, I know that I could have that same experience, I'm sure, with Wicca and paganism, but I'm so isolated from anybody else who has the same beliefs as me that I'm kind of just, I'm used to going to church, and I'm used to doing devotions and Bible camp and all that stuff. To have such a community and then now not have a community at all is very difficult for me, and often makes me like stop and question, am I following the right path? Like, am I crazy for not following like the Christian God anymore? But I'm very thankful for you guys here on my channel and on my blog, because you guys do give me some sense of community that I didn't have before I started doing this. Question 21 is, what is most appealing / fulfilling in paganism? And I think it's the freedom. The thing that turned me off the most from Christianity was, one, I was told that everything that happened to me was like God's plan, and it was predetermined, and I had no control in any of it. And so, having gone through many hardships growing up and people getting sick, and even though I understood that the Christians would say God won't put you through anything that you can't handle and everything happens for a reason, I still couldn't fathom how an all-loving God could do these things. And in paganism, there is no, this is your path. Some deity has created this path for you for some reason, and yada 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 yada. You have no control over what's going to happen. In my faith, I don't believe in fate. I don't believe that everything is predetermined. I believe that I have my choices. I do I do to some extent think that there are some major key points in my life that are predetermined, but the path to getting there isn't determined. I could take the easy route and have a very happy life, or I could go the harder route, depending on the choices that I make, and get there at the end of the day as well, but have gone through more stuff. I also really enjoy that everybody's faith is different in paganism. No one really believes in exactly the same thing. Sure, we might agree on in reincarnation, but maybe we don't agree on whether or not there's actually deities or if it's just the universal energy source. But we can still say we're part of the same religion, even though we don't believe in the same divine beings. I think that's pretty cool. And I also really like that we have the goddess. I really like how the feminine aspect is represented because I connect with her a lot more than I do with male deity. Question 22. How do you avoid stagnant spiritual slumps? My honest answer, I don't think I do. I don't think I avoid them. I'm pretty sure I'm in one right now. I don't necessarily think slumps or stagnation in your spirituality is a bad thing. There's a time for growing, and then there's a time for resting, you know? I grew a lot in my faith in the last year or two, and right now, you know, I'm really busy all the time. It's really something I'm struggling with, you know, between working a full-time job, then coming home and having blog posts to write and videos to edit, and then on the weekend videos to create. And then I also play Dungeons and Dragons on the weekend, or not even just on the weekend, during the week, like twice a week usually. And then, you know, you want to make time to see friends because you want to maintain those relationships, or, you know, family comes to visit, you know. So it's very overwhelming, and I feel like right now I haven't really had time or energy to really sit down in my spirituality and, you know, figure that out for myself. Like, I haven't really been celebrating the Sabbats that much this year, and I haven't been praying very much. I haven't been doing a whole lot of divination. I've done a bit, but not as much as I used to. You know, I haven't been doing rituals or very many spells or anything like that. I've just been kind of, you know, existing. And I don't think that's a bad thing. I think it's okay to take a break now and again and not overwhelm yourself. Yeah, I think I'll come out of it eventually on my own time when I'm ready, and I will get back into all the stuff I was doing before. Question number 23. What advice can you give to a new pagan? I think the best advice that I can give you is don't feel pressure to believe or to do anything that isn't right for you. I think, especially for those of us in Wicca, you know, we see what the big YouTubers are doing, we read books and they tell us how we should be practicing our faith, that, you know, you have to do magic, you have to have these altar tools, your altar has to look like this, you have to have a matron, you have to have a patron, you know, you have to meditate, you have to be vegan or vegetarian or anything like that. And I don't think any of that is true for every single individual. We all have our own paths, we all have our own interpretations of the faith, and we all believe in different things, and it's okay not to fit into a box. You don't have to do that. Believe what you believe, do what you want to do, and don't worry about the rest. As I always say, your intention is everything, and as long as your intention is pure and of kindness and positivity, I think you're doing your religion justice. And the last question is question 24, and it's, what have you learned this year? What are your spiritual / pagan goals for next year? This year I've learned a lot of stuff. A lot of the things that I write about on my blog and a lot of the things that I talk about on my channel are things that I am still learning too. I've taken time to do the research, and then I deliver that research to you guys. On a personal level, I've confirmed for myself that I'm a crystal child. I've learned where my soul origins are, like where the different places I've been incarnated are. I've learned, I say a lot, sorry. I'm slowly learning on how to incorporate my faith into work without focusing on my faith. Does that make sense? Like teaching the kids to respect nature, teaching them to appreciate the squirrels, teaching them to look at the trees from underneath and just appreciating its beauty, and giving love to our trees and our plants and all that stuff. I'm really learning how to bring that love of nature into my work life and into for the next generation. It's a slow process, but I think it's coming, and hopefully eventually when I have my own kids, I'll be able to take what I'm learning now through my career and be able to implement it even better with them. When it comes to my spiritual or pagan goals for the next year, I really hope that, I'm back to committing myself to rituals and the Sabbats and really honestly celebrating them. I have a book that I started writing months ago and I haven't touched it in I don't even know how long, like forever ago, and so I'd like to get back into working on that because it is also about paganism, and I'd like to get that going. I'd like to find more time for you guys so I can be posting more. I'd like to be posting on my blog like 3 times a week so I can keep doing my Wednesday posts and my tarot series, but then also having another day a week where I post so I can fill out our Book of Shadows on there more, instead of having to use a Wednesday blog post to fill in the Book of Shadows. And I think I'd like to start, focusing on balancing my chakras more and maybe trying to reach out more in the community, do more devotions, because I know I liked doing devotions when I was a Christian and it helped me feel really connected. And I have a chakra devotion book if you will. It's like every day you do the little activity that the book says, and yeah, that to me is devotional. So I'd like to get back into that too. But yeah, I think that's everything. Thank you for joining me with my supper and listening to what I had to say, because it's probably a really long video. But I hope you enjoyed getting to know me a bit better. Make sure you check out my blog, wiccansartwiccan.com, because firstly, you're going to want to see the first part to all these questions, and you're going to want to enter my giveaway, which you can do on my blog or here on this channel or on Twitter or through email. There's so many options to enter this giveaway, so you should do that. But I make posts on my blog every Wednesday and Friday, and make sure you subscribe to me here as well, because I make videos every Monday and Thursday. And until next time, blessed be.